We're joined now by the CEO of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, to make light of what exactly is going on in the country. Good to see you, and thanks for your time as always. Your regulatory body, NMDPRA, is also, being looked at for Nigerians to understand what exactly this is about. If we say subsidy has been removed, perhaps what else is there for the NMDPRA?
Well, we are the regulator. By the way, good evening.
Good evening. Good to see you.
We're the regulator. And look at us as the referee in a football pitch. You have the rules of the game. So what we do now, we set up the rules of the game as regulator, and we leave the pitch open for all players to come in, which means we leave the industry for all players to come in. If you are qualified to have a license to import, yes, we'll give you authorization to import. NNPC will not, again, be the sole importer because the field is open for everybody. Now, as a regulator, we did not want to set a price, because if we set a price, that means we're putting a cap. If we put a cap and it goes up by 1 naira, that means, oh, they are exceeding, then everybody start complaining. Oh, it's 501, why it was supposed to be 500? So as a regulator, we say, look, it's an open field now, and everybody has an equal opportunity, so long you can meet all those requirements that are needed for importation.
Well, what exactly are these requirements? I mean, what are these rules you talk about, and how really within these circumstances that we find ourselves in Nigeria presently, where we have to queue endlessly for fuel, what are you doing to ensure, to give Nigerians the confidence that you're actually there to protect their interest?
Yeah, exactly. As a responsible organization, we look at the parameters or the pricing, for example, based on the transfer price. For example, if you look at NNPC, we gave them the authorization to say, okay, do your cost plus. How much is your cost? Add your profit, and that will be the transfer price. So if they're selling to, say, for example, OVH or corn oil, because now they are the key supplier, the main supplier, they give them at the cost plus, and then that one transfers to. So either they sell to them offshore price or ex-depot price, or they can even take it to their retail outlets as well. Now, as far as the consumer is concerned, he is protected because we're there to protect him. And of course, we've been working very closely with the FCCPC, that is Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, to ensure that the consumer is not taken advantage of. And we've been collaborating with FCCPC since last year, and especially the last 1 week, or the last 4 days, we've been interacting a lot to see what mechanism can we put into place in order to protect the customer.
What are you coming up with in terms of mechanisms to protect the customer? Because from all indication, from as far as Nigerians are concerned right now, they are being taken advantage of. Because first off, the president only said that because fuel subsidy is not factored into the 2023 budget, it automatically means there is no subsidy, right? And marketers, filling stations just ran with it and upped, their pump price, including the NNPCL.
Yeah, the NNPCL, like I said earlier, they're looking at their cost plus. Now, what happened when you saw the spike in the pricing, especially at petrol station, is because of the uncertainties that came with that pronouncement. When the pronouncement came, it caught everybody by surprise. Of course, we know that what was going to happen. We know what Mr. President's intentions, but we had to wait for him to make the pronouncement. And when he did the pronouncement, it took time to absorb and then to put his strategies in place. So most of the stations shut down because there were uncertainties. Some of the depots also shut down. So that period of non-serving from the petrol stations also caused some tightness in the system. And that's why you saw the price spiking up beyond what now is. Now, if you go around Abuja, like you have earlier reported, there are no queues. Overnight, everything cleared. And I believe that gradually, when people come to terms with the fact that, yes, the price is there, and especially that the product is there. NNPC has already said it, and we know that they had as of yesterday, they had over 30 days sufficiency. And it's just a matter of continuing movement of products from the coastal depot into the other parts of the country, and the whole thing will get back to normal.
Let me come in here, and I'd like us to go back to the talk of having the FCCPC, because we had that conversation yesterday after Dr. Irukara and his team told the nation what they're doing to see that people are not shortchanged. And if you look at the Act and some sections of the FCCPC, what would amount to, shortchanging the consumer? When you say you have opened the space, it's liberalized, not talking about pricing, so we're not having a fixed pricing. At what point would you, as the DPRA and FCCP, see and say, wait a minute, the consumer is in trouble here because the pricing is there already, 540 and above for some. So at what point will there be an activation of red alert for the consumer to say, come to my aid?
Good. First of all, it's liberal, right? Yeah. So people is willing seller, willing buyer. However, even within that framework, there are those who may want to profiteer when maybe there are areas where there's short supply. But again, in the market, so if there's short supply somewhere, somebody will move there. But we will see that there is an intent, there is a deliberate attempt to take advantage of the consumer by spiking the price much higher than the reasonable recovery or profit level. Then, of course, we have to caution. And this is where we said, look, let's collaborate together to see that we caution. Then if you continue, then we sanction.
So have you gone round to inspect, to ensure that nobody is profiteering? What are you finding out, and what punitive measures, if at all, are you putting in place?
To be honest with you, this time around we're not trying to restrict anybody because we want the flow. Because we are just coming, like I said, from the period of uncertainty in the last 1 day or 2 days, and then most of the depots were shut down, most of the petrol stations were shut down, but now there's flow. So by the time we take time to see that there is ample distribution across the nation, then of course we try to monitor, especially at the beginning when people are, especially market, are uncertain on what level they can go, because there's a lot of uncertainties in it, which now will warrant others to overprice. But again, like I said, it's the open market. So if somebody has high price, the next door somebody is low price, obviously everybody will go where there's low price, because it's like going to the market. You want to buy rice, somebody say, oh, the sack is 30,000 naira. And then you go the next shop, is that 30,000 to 29,500 naira. Obviously, if it's the same quality, you go where it's cheaper.
I know definitely we'll get to that point, honestly, where you drive and you look at a sign before you go in and you say, okay, this is quite higher for me. But again, before we get there, there's a question that many still have not been able to, proffer answers, and it's about the product that is already available in the country now. We're not talking about the products that
Before
is coming,
that
is coming, via the ship or any kind of means. And it is said that it's already subsidized till about the end of June. And with that pronouncement for President Tinubu, suddenly we're getting to see every petrol station, including NNPCL, jack up prices. And people are saying, wait a minute, you're cheating the consumer, because what you're selling is the old stock that the country has already subsidized.
Well, I'm not an economist, but there is what you call inventory advantage. It could have gone either way. So
advantage only to the seller.
No, that's what you call inventory advantage. Anywhere. You go and buy cement from Dangote and you stock it, you are selling, and all of a sudden there's a reason why Dangote cannot produce. Then you see the price go up. You have the inventory, and it could go down. If there's a glut, you go down, then you lose. So basically,
so it's safe to say. So it's safe to say. Well, the consumer, the average Nigerian or every Nigerian, is being shortchanged at the moment.
It's not shortchanging. I don't look at it that way. I said I'm not an economist. But again, I know that that's what you call inventory advantage.
Right.
It could go either or disadvantage.
So what you're saying as a regulator is you're only concerned with about availability and not necessarily the cost.
Well, no. I said we look at the cost plus.
We
are monitoring for example, the import cost in the international market. How much is a gasoline cost, say in Europe? how much to transport it to Nigeria, and how much to transship it from offshore to to the depot, and then how much are they selling from the depot. Then we'll also look at the financing cost. Yeah? We'll look at the other variables that build up to the cost. And then we have like what you call indicative price, which we are not going to say this is the price you cannot go, but we know. So we monitor the market within that band of the indicative price plus the profit.
And I know we have to go back quickly here. I need to drop in this because you're an expert, and once we see an expert, we need to ask quickly. Talking about the variables and the indicators, put in perspective the Dangote refinery when it finally comes on, stream with its products. Do you think this might be the game changer for Nigerians?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, because Dangote is going to buy his crude at international price, whether you buy it from Nigeria or you import it. Dangote is going to run his refinery based on the economics of the refinery, which his equipment, his spare parts are all in US dollars. Dangote is going to sell his products, whether it is gasoline or gas oil or jet or anything, at international benchmark price. Now, what is the advantage of Dangote being where it is located? Employment. And then, of course, shipping. Rather than shipping from Rotterdam to Lagos, now you're using from Dangote to Lagos. So you save on freight, and of course, the national advantage in terms of employment.
We'll have to leave it there. Farouk Ahmed is Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority boss. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.